Friends, family, fans, welcome back to another episode of Back Nine Bets, episode 140. You stay classy, DEGEN 75. For those of you that already know the news, for those of you that don't, one of the I usually say this for the last part of the show, but it's a weird week for all of us that do a bunch of content and have hung out with James. We all knew situation with cancer. We all knew that he was, fighting it strong, hard, fearlessly, and he lost his battle on Sunday, which was very sad news for all of us to find out yesterday. My condolences go out to Tambo, the Ship at Nation squad, Mrs. DEGEN 75. Just a truly sad situation, and this show is in honor of him, because I've done a show with him a couple times, and I've never had him on my show, but I've always done shows with him on his because he's always too busy and crushing content out there. And I first met him in my DMs, and it was him that reached out to me saying that he's a big fan of this show and that how I go about golf content and all of that is truly inspiring and it's different. And as a result, I was a fan of his, which was not difficult to do. He's a very easy person to support, and his stuff was fantastic. To sharp as attack, and no matter who you are, I felt like I had a very kind of special relationship with him, but it seems like everyone did. Looking at the comments on his posts and people's tributes to him on X, they all felt the way I feel. And he made everyone feel special. He was usually the sharpest person in the room, but he made you feel like you guys, that you were on the same level as him regardless. And it was an honor to do shows with him. It was an honor to know him. And, he made me a better DFS player. And he made everyone around him happier people. He was always enthusiastic and just, he had a special way about him that we all just loved and enjoyed, and he was definitely one of one. I think he could have had his Twitter handle as DEGEN1 because he was one of one. And, it was so sad to hear that news, but in the spirit of James, I think we're going to celebrate his life and celebrate who he was as a person and have a fantastic show. We're going to bring the heat. We're going to bring the energy. We're going to have fun. I think he's looking down from us, looking down on a nice big rocking chair up there, knowing who's exactly going to win the tournament this week. So maybe he can channel some of that to us tonight. But, to those of you that feel grieving and reach out to those that you love the ones that you do, and call your mom, call your dad, call your loved ones. Life is just too short, friends, and I beg and plead that you take every day by the balls and you make it your day, because you never know when it's not going to be your day. So a little bit of a somber start to the show, but it's a very big loss to the community, and we are all hurting and we miss him dearly, but the show must go on. And he would want it no other way. So we will be doing that. And the thumbnail in the Ron Burgundy fashion, he was always Mr. Burgundy on his Twitter account and on YouTube. So we are going to be rocking and rolling. Might throw a couple Anchorman quotes in there if I can remember a couple as we're going along. But James, it was great knowing you, my friend. Rest easy, bud. All right. Let's go. It's the Charles Schwab. It's a week down in Texas. Scotty Scheffler coming off back-to-back wins in back-to-back starts. PGA champion. He's trying to win as many tournaments, I believe, in Texas as he possibly can. He's now won the Byron Nelson. He's come second at the Houston Open twice in the last couple of years. So we are looking for a Scotty Scheffler Texas sweep. I think he's going to win it again this week, and we'll chat about him in DFS. We'll chat about him in the betting stages. We'll have a good time chatting all about how to adopt different strategies when Scotty Scheffler is in the field because he's changing the game, kind of like James. So we're going to chat about that. Have a good time. As always, here are the statisticals for this week's Charles Schwab in the Model Maniac Patreon. Use Charles 25 for 25% off. We are going to be going nuts in that market. We've got the Maniac tool. We've got course history for you guys. We've got round 2 showdown that we had for the PGA Championship, round 3 showdown, round 4 showdown. All the bets that I've got out here. We've got a one and done tool that we'll be using. So that is all available to you guys in the Model Maniac Patreon. Link in the description below. If you enjoy this information, if you want it to your fingertips, we've got the Power BI website that you can use for all the different betting profiles, how Scotty Scheffler's been in the different markets. He's in 2025, he's won twice. And he's breaking even because his odds are so short. So, that's the world we're living in right now. So Scotty Scheffler doing his thing. You can see who's been the most profitable at the Charles Schwab in the last little while. There's Scotty Scheffler and Davis Riley. Shout out my man, Commentatoring Nerd. We've got a Davis Lipsky sighting over here, who's finished inside the top 22 of his last 3 starts. So we'll start diving into a couple dudes as we go along. We'll be using the research tool over here to kind of dive into round by round stats to see how these guys are doing based off of the model. The model's giving us a high level summary. Then we can dive deeper in over here. If you're looking for round by round stuff, we've got that for you too. And then for the DFS nerds out there, I know there are many. We have got the Charles Schwab lined up here for historical performances over here. So in 2024, Scotty Scheffler was the most owned option, 48.5%. We are going to be seeing even more ownership than that. Colin Morikawa is not in the field at 11K. We've got Tommy Fleetwood. We've got Jordan Spieth. We've got Daniel Berger. Kind of guys still trying to find their feet on the PGA, not find their feet, but find their feet at the top of the board, so to speak. So we'll be diving into all of that. I've had a cough for the last 3 weeks. I wasn't having an allergy attack 2 weeks ago. I'm still sick. It's just not sick, but there's a lingering cough. And, when you're speaking one-on-one, you just don't get a break. So it was nice to do the Fantasy Golf Degenerates show. Let's have ourselves a wonderful week. Some of the comments over here. Anthony's saying hi. Do you notice that I fixed the video thing here? My video now moves up. I'm no longer hidden behind the box. Commentating Nerd mentioning Scotty Scheffler problem. We will diagnose that tonight. Joanne, who, by the way, said Tim Wiseman was going to be DFL last week at the PGA Championship. It was not him. It was Gary or Greg Koch or Gary Koch. Mr. Koch, we'll go with that. That's accurate. Finishing DFL, Patton Kazaya punted his putter into the bliss. Did not, but he WD'd. So in the comments after the show goes live, let me know who's going to finish DFL. I'll give you a free month into the Model Maniac Patreon and have a great time down there. Joanne, obviously, very good at this stuff. She knows exactly who's going to finish last. She knows who's going to win. You got Waylon Eppen Jennings saying, rest easy, big guy. Rest easy. Joanne saying, thank you, Byron. Good words. You are one of the best. Thank you, Joanne. You are too. Soda Kid, RIP to the big guy. Absolutely. That mother, father, according to Kevin Eisenkant, fought hard. Time to lay down. Big easy. Down easy, big guy. I can hear the banjos bringing him in. Let's go. All right. Commentator, you are the whole golf tips tracker chart of cheese. Yes. Is that Scotty Scheffler? Not even mad. And our boy JD saying, Byron. Beautiful. We are now up to date with the comments. I'm sweating my ass off in here. Have another sip of margarita. If you can, have a drink. Have a drink. If you can't, grab a seltzer water. Have a soda and lime. Have a Coke, whatever you want. Let's have a nice, refreshing beverage as we dive through today's golf bets. We're going to be doing golf betting. We're going to be doing golf DFS. I'll be answering some DFS and any questions you have. Later on in the show, I'll be doing a giveaway at half an hour, and we will just have a good time tonight. So let's go. Let's freaking go. And off the top rope, I'm going to zoom in a smidgen over here just to get that even better for you guys so we can see the top of the board. We're going to get Justin's beautiful face out of the picture over here. And right off the top, we're going with Scotty Scheffler to win this thing. Plus 350 with 3 places at Bet365, I think it's down to plus 320 now. Use the boost, get yourself 30% extra on that. And we're going with the 3 places as well. Scottie Scheffler, if you take a look at his track record at this golf course, since he leveled up in 2021 or 2022, let's say, he is now second, third, and second at the Charles Schwab. The Chucky Schwab has been a happy hunting ground for him. So that 3 places would have cashed 3 of 3 the last 3 years when Scottie Scheffler has been the dominant Scottie Scheffler he has been. If we take a look at his recent form, well, he would have cashed the top 3 at the Houston Open. He would have cashed the top 3 at the CJ Byron Nelson and a top 3 at the PGA Championship. Finished 4th at the Masters, didn't have his A game. But what I want to show you guys with Scottie Scheffler, it has been something that we've been monitoring, and it's now happening. We're going to get Jordan Spieth the hell out of here. Let's pull up Scheffler, because his ball striking has now just returned. We've had now multiple tournaments, 2 tournaments in a row, where Scottie Scheffler has had a top 5. I'll actually go over here real quick for us. Scottie Scheffler, strokes gained, ball striking. We have a top 5 performance, 3rd all-time for Scottie Scheffler. Let me get my face out of here so you can see the dates. 3rd all-time for Scottie Scheffler at the PGA Championship. His 3rd best ball striking round came in round 3 on that Saturday when he absolutely dismantled the Green Mile. He turned the Green Mile into 8 Mile, where he just separated himself by 8 strokes on Jon Rahm, on all the boys. So he is absolutely dominant when it comes to so difficult venues, and he gained 6.2 strokes, which is behind his Masters finish, the opening round in 2023, where he gained 6.3, and then the Memorial, in the final round of the Memorial in 2023, gained 8.3 strokes ball striking, which is off the tee and approach play. Now, the 5th best career ball striking performance came at the CJ Cup Byron Nelson 2 starts ago, where he gained 5.7 strokes ball striking. And if you take a peek at what he got up to in general, we are noticing that Scottie Scheffler's short game is typically firing. Had a bit of a rough RBC Heritage post-Masters. Must have been a little disappointed, not finishing, the way he wanted, because we know this guy just wants to win major after major, 3-time major champion now. Wouldn't it be fun if he wins the Grand Slam this year? Hold my beer, Rory McIlroy. I'm going to just match you with 5 majors this year in minimal starts. That'd be awesome. But he'd have to conquer the Open Championship, which has not necessarily been his best world. When you're hitting as many greens as Scottie did at the Byron Nelson, you don't get that many chances to work your way around the green. So Scottie Scheffler's ball striking has now returned since the RBC Heritage. The last time he gained 2 strokes on average was the Olympics prior to the RBC Heritage. So we saw at the RBC Heritage that magic 2 mark on the ball striking front. If you go all the way back here, here's the Olympics where he gained 3.5 strokes ball striking on the field to win that gold medal. So now at the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson gained 4.5, 2.4 at the PGA Championship, 2 at RBC Heritage, and we're starting to chip and putt. We are putting fantastic. Scottie Scheffler has lost putting at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and that is basically it for this year. He was in his head at the API, was not in the mood to groove, and found himself messing around on the greens. It's the only time this year in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds, 10 events that he's lost strokes putting. Yes, he's had a couple close calls, fractional above 0. But above 0 is above 0, friends. And Scottie Scheffler is doing his thing. So, Scottie, to win this thing, plus 350, we're only betting 1 unit on him to win 3.5 units, and then 1 additional unit for the 3 places, which will probably return us like 2, because it's a 5 places, and 5 places is not good. You need plus 500 to get even money on the placing. So it's going to be negative odds on the placement market there for a top 3. But that's the world we're living in with Scottie Scheffler. So it's going to be fun. I think we're going to definitely have a chance to win this tournament. It's not necessarily an outright at plus 350, but we're going to focus on the placement market this week, because when Scottie's in the field, the placement market is available. Odds are significantly higher in general because he's so short on his side. Everyone gets bumped up, and as a result, those top 5s, top 10s, those markets are a little more appealing because we are getting some value over there. So Scottie Scheffler, welcome to the betting card to win this tournament. Just a little sprinkle to win 3.5 units there on the outright side of things. On the pulse, saying, I know you'll touch on a DFS better to stock multiple guys that could come T10 or Scheffler and try to find guys. On the pulse, I'm going to tease you with my strategy later on in the show. We're going to be dealing with the DFS side of things once we roll through these bets and have ourselves a wonderful time. So without further ado, let's get to our next top 5, and that's going to be Maverick McNeely. So we're going to filter here on Magic Mav, find his metrics over here, and take a look at what he's been up to the last little while. So this course history here hasn't been the greatest, but we've got a best finish of 17th, which came last year. Prior to that, we had a 20th and a 32nd. Still very good results, given the fact that Mav wasn't necessarily the Mav that we know now. He just finished third at the RBC Heritage. He just finished third at the Valero. He finished top 3. He was trying to win the Genesis Invitational. So he's had 3 instances this year where he's tried to win tournaments and didn't quite get it done, but we love the top 5 for him. He has been solid in the last little while. If we take a look at his bent grass putting from 5 to 15 feet, going to be important this week. Green regulation rates at this golf course are lower than tour average, so you're going to be chipping a lot more. When you chip, you leave yourself 5 to 15 feet. Unless it's dead in the money, then you've got a little tap in there, but this is a difficult golf course. These Bermuda rough areas around the green on the side of the fairways, Bermuda grass isn't as predictable as overseeded ryegrass that we've seen a lot of this year, because these courses want to make it look good. We want to see tough golf. Let the guys get out of sticky, unpredictable Bermuda. And as a result, we're going to see that this week at Colonial Country Club. If we're taking a look at Mav's situation, not a great wedge player. That's okay. The majority of shots come from 125 and beyond, not 100 and beyond. So we're going to have to deal with this area a little bit, but the most of the approach shots come from 150 and out. He's pretty darn solid in green regulation rates this week from 200 plus. If we're looking out of the rough, he's a little struggling, if I do say so myself. So he's going to have to keep it in the fairway. But we've seen him on these positional venues. RBC Heritage, Valero, 2 top 3s there. We like him for a top 5. Like him a lot. 15% owned. His data golf ranking in this field is 4th. His ball striking. Remember how Magic Mav used to be the putting guy? He always used to just putt his brains apart. Now he's the ball striker. 4th in the field. 15th off the tee, 8th on approach. And that's for the last 12, 8, 4, and 2 months. So we kind of really staggering and stacking more recent results to kind of get a feel for how these golfers are trending. And he's doing some good stuff. So plays hard conditions nicely. Hellish conditions are a little more difficult where they are over par. That's hellish conditions. Maybe I can make it a little bigger here to show you guys. There we go. Hard conditions, if this is slightly under par this week, he's going to thrive. If it's slightly over par, he's not necessarily the greatest there, but we're starting to see the ball striking move in the right direction for Mav. $9,500. Don't mind him if you're not playing Scottie Scheffler. We'll chat about that shortly. Taking a look at Chris Draper saying McNeely, top 5, top 10 for me, says commentating nerd. And Sweet Spot says, yo. Go check out Sweet Spot after this. He's a fantastic watch if you're looking for some DFS lineups and some strategy about building lineups. I think it'll be interesting to see what his optimizer kicks out for the bucket system for Scottie Scheffler this week. So fun stuff. Moving along to our next bets. I'm going to take a quick sip of some margarita here. We've got a Ryan Gerard, top 10, plus 550. Let's get him in here. By the way, Gerard Butler, one of my favorite actors. Love Inside Man as one of my favorite movies. Big time, awesome bank heist guy. Big fan of those kind of shows. They always intrigue me. If I wasn't a DFS betting content creator / accountant, I'd probably be a bank robber. Not to say that I ever think I would have got there, but thank God I found a different career. Love those kind of ideas. Anyway, not criminalizing myself here. Let's move along. So Ryan Gerard, again, we're back in Texas, friends. So Houston Open, finished 9th. Not the greatest comp course, but we're in Texas. Then at the Valero, you almost won that thing. Came from behind, almost one back door when old Brian Harmon strode away with his 2-foot-inch steps on the field there. Got his thing done. RBC Heritage, 27th, did his thing. But if we take a look at Gerard's metrics, he gets significantly better as we get further away. 200 plus, he is the second best golfer in the field there. So that's very exciting. If we take a look at the strokes gained from 150 to 200, he's 41st in the field. So he's really going to separate himself with the long irons. Sensational long iron player. And that's likely where most of the bogeys are going to come from this week. So wonder what his bogey avoidance rate looks like on this field. Ooh, it's actually 24th. Sorry, of the last 24 rounds, it's 30th. His birdie rate is 4th. So it makes a lot of birdies on difficult and medium type courses. Ryan Gerard also a round 1, round 2 juggernaut. Absolutely scintillating. He struggles a little bit as the week goes along. If we take a look at what he got up to at the PGA Championship, Ryan Gerard was at the top of the board and kind of just drifted backwards until he came back on Sunday. So he showed us again that he is very, very capable of getting himself right in the mix. What are we looking at here? Round date, US Open, PGA Championship. That's what we're looking for. So in round 1, he was second after round 1, 7th after round 2, dropped all the way to 17th. Didn't lose a stroke, gained half a stroke, but kind of lost ground to the top end of the field there, and then bounced back with a nice round, shooting a 70 on Sunday for a T8. So congratulations to Ryan Gerard on his top 10 in a major. That's going to be really helpful for him with the confidence. I think he's going to be great at the top 5, top 10 market. We're going with him top 10 plus 550 if you like that kind of thing. Mac Nasty is the nickname for Mav. Yes. Love Gerard Butler. Good. Me too. Commentating nerd. I'm doing top 10, top 20. Beautiful. Great minds think alike. Money Heist on Netflix. Yes. Now, it took me several episodes to realize that they weren't speaking in sync. That just shows you how bad my auditory stuff is. I'm more of a visual guy, which means I should have seen that they weren't speaking English. They were voicing it over. Then it started causing me some issues, but great show. Great show. I love it. Elite bank robbing show. Yeah. What's up, Phil? How you doing, my friend? We getting on Vegas or what? We're probably not going to get on Vegas this week. I don't think this is the kind of venue for him, but we can discuss that here too. Top 30 here too for Ryan Gerard. Is that what you were saying to me? At some point, who knows what Jeff is actually talking about? Are we talking about what, buddy? I have no idea. Can't just throw out random words like that. Give me some context. So that's our second bet for the night. We're going to move along to another top 10 play, and that is going to be our friend Bud Coley, plus 600 for a top 10. By the way, these are mostly all at BetMGM. We are waiting for ProfitX to give us placement markets, but it seems like they're just doing it for the majors. When the majors come around, ProfitX provides you with the best placement market out there. Xander Schauffele was about even money on Play ProfitX when everywhere else was minus 130s, and they pay ties in full. So that was nice. Bryson DeChambeau cashed that last week at plus 180 for a top 5. We cashed Scotty Scheffler minus 150 for a top 10. Scotty Scheffler, top 10, minus 150. Most places are giving you minus 200s for those numbers. So we are loving ProfitX on the placement market over there. Bud Coley, we are a fan of this man. If we take a look at his course history, his comp courses, just sitting around the 30 mark. But my favorite part about old Coley, and now he played here in 2020. That's a long time ago. He's a different guy right now. We have, on these shorter positional tracks, 6th at the Players, 4th at the Valspar, 5th at the Valero, 32nd at the RBC Heritage Signature event. So he's played some good golf in Texas. He's definitely done some work there. And the Valero is a solid comp for me this week. We're using that because it's a similar kind of field as well, minus the Scotty Schefflers of the world. And if we're taking a look at his upside, he finishes inside the top 10 as often as he does top 20. So when he's popping for a top 20, he's finishing inside the top 10, 31% of the time for both those metrics. So do not really bet Bud Coley in the top 20 market. As you can see, that's one of his least profitable placement markets. The top 10 market, top 5 market, he's cashed you $200 if you've bet to win 100 every single time he's played, given his odds. So it's been really, really impressive. If we go over here to his actual tool, we can take a peek at Collie for the year. And he's likely going to be very, very nice to see in this top 5 market over here. Top 10 market. We've got 3 of those before we got to the RBC and PGA Championship. Wouldn't say the PGA Championship is a great venue for, but he is playing some good golf right now. I think he's going to have a very good chance of finishing inside the top 10 this week. Plus 600 seems very affordable for us. The top 10 market is easily his best in the last little while. So good stuff from old Cauliflower over there. Another top 10. Do we have one of those? Yes, we do. His name is Mackenzie Mack. We've got Return of the Mac, Return of the McNeely, Return of the Mackenzies. It's a great time to be a Mac on back 9 bets. And Mackenzie Hughes, what would you know? The tool's telling us plus $265 return in that market over the last 12 months if you're betting to win 100 in the top 10 market. He's finishing inside the top 10 29% of the time. 17% of the time it's a top 5. And as you can see here, the top 20 to top 10 conversion rate is 88%. So he's always about 9 out of 10 times when he's finishing top 20, he's finishing top 10. So a top 20 bet, and you can see the difference here. It's about half the return on the last 12 months here for the top 20 versus the top 10. So I think Mackenzie Hughes for a top 10 is absolutely where we want to go. Finished 8th here in 2019, missed the cut after those 2 years there. But we're taking a look at RBC Heritage. We're taking a look at a venue in Texas. He's finished 10th at the Houston Open, 3rd at the RBC Heritage, and then has missed the cut in 2 of his last starts. That's okay. But what I want to really point out to you is Mackenzie Hughes' driving ability. And his off the tee metrics have really shifted in the last little while. If we take a look at his world over here, off the tee, we're looking at like dire red situation here, barely gaining any strokes prior to the Valspar or the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And then after that, we've barely lost strokes. The Players Championship, he missed the cut. He lost some strokes there. But after that, we have gained strokes at the Valspar. We've gained strokes at the Texas Children's Open. We've gained at the RBC Heritage. Barely lost 0.2 on the whole week at the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson. And then gained a quarter of a stroke at the PGA Championship. So he's doing some good work on the approach front. If we can get the around the green play to show up again and not lose 3.2 strokes per round putting, what were we doing at the PGA Championship? We don't know. But we like his chances here. We like the top 10 market for Mackenzie Hughes, plus 450. He showed up 2 top 10s in his last 4 starts. We're going to be going with him again. And he gets on these top 10 runs to end the year. 6th at the Nedbank, 5th at the RSM, 8th at Sanderson's, 4th at the Procore. So he gets on these top 10 runs and really rocks and rolls. 7th the RBC Canadian, 6th at the Wells Fargo Championship, which was basically a year ago. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top 10s in the last year. That's really impressive, considering he's probably played in 20 tournaments. That's very nice. So looking at his percentages here, that probably makes a lot of sense because I think it was 33%, right? So, yeah. So top 10 rates, 3 out of every 10 starts, he's finishing inside the top 10. Love to see it. It's good stuff for Mackenzie Hughes. And as a result, we can see the strokes gained off the tee, not necessarily catching up. Not necessarily the greatest, but it used to be a major liability. His short game still 15th in this field. Love that for Mackenzie Hughes. Moving along swiftly. Let's take a quick look at the comments over here. Team No Putt selects Lucas Glover. Sure thing. We'll chat about Lucas Glover here as well. Ryan Gerard, top 30. I love it. Yeah. If you're in the mood for that, go ahead and do that. But start saying Team No Putt selects Lucas Glover. Let's inflict the glove on the team. And we're going to go with the Lucas Glover top 20 plus 260. It's almost like Sites is in the Discord. We don't necessarily know. He is in the Discord, I do believe. So congratulations to Sites on picking one of the guys we are going to be playing with. Accuracy off the tee, 6th in the field. Strokes gained off the tee on courses that are less than 7,200 yards. that is where we will be going. I think I fix that on every show, unless it's the same thing, but that's a tradition we'll be doing over here as well. Lucas Glover's weighted strokes approach is really a wedge guy, but he's also very, very solid from 150 to 200, and then we struggle once it gets longer than that. He doesn't have the juice to get the ball high enough in the air to land it softly on firm greens, but we're going to really get most of our damage done inside 200 yards with the glove, and especially from the fairway. He's one of the most accurate in the field, and as a result, he finds himself as the 16th best ball striker, the 11th best approach player in the last 12, 8, 4, and 2 months. The course history here is 4th in the field, strokes gained-wise. We are looking at finishes of 23rd, 8th, 40th, and 12th. So his worst finish has been a 40th place finish. If you want to be going after the top 40 market on the glove, he would have cashed that 4 of the last 4 times he's played here. We're going to be going top 20 because old Lucas Glover has really shown us that he's in the mood for some top 20 action. 37th at the PGA Championship, not a golf course that really suits Lucas Glover. And I believe the iron play was scintillating for him over there because he's not an overpowering option for old Lucas Glover. So the approach play gained basically a stroke on approach over there and chipped himself quite nicely around that golf course. Never really gains with the putter. We'll see how he goes. If we're taking a look at what he gets up to at Colonial, how does the putter look over there? It's been much better. When he's had the 12th and the 8th, he's gained over a stroke per round. 1.7 strokes putting when he's gone to the broomstick on these Colonial greens. So last year was a great finish for him there. Typically struggles on the around the green front. Might be running hard on the chipping front after a PGA Championship. So it's looking good. We can really expect him to take some action on that front. We love the ball striking overall. The short game really helped him a lot when he finished top 12 last year. So that's Lucas Glover for you at plus 260 for a top 20. Let's dive into another top 20 for us over here as we're going down the board to old Danny Berger. We are a fan of Daniel Berger for a top 20. Not necessarily that thrilled about his upside this week, although he has won this tournament back in 2020. But the consistency is just the epitome of Daniel Berger. We have made cuts here every single year since 2019. We got a 20th place finish in 2021 as well, 23rd in 2022, and then 45th here last year when he was still trying to get back in the groove. So far this year, a top 20 market has been very, very profitable for Daniel Berger. 20th at the Players, 30th at the Valero, 21st at the Masters, 3rd at the RBC Heritage, and 11th at the Wells Fargo. 33rd at the PGA Championship, where he lost 1 million strokes putting. Very, very disappointed stuff from Daniel Berger, actually. But he typically putts a little better or a little worse. It's a hit or miss type situation there. The ball striking for him is always going to be prodigious at this golf course. And if we're just removing the Colonial Country Club and taking a look at the putter, it's been pretty bad the last 3 starts. So I don't like that for an upside type play for him. We're not really getting over the hump with the putter being as despondent as it has been. We barely finished 3rd at the RBC Heritage with some incredible ball striking and tee to green play. The putter letting him down. So maybe the putter shows up, maybe it doesn't. It used to be one of his best traits. Not quite that anymore. So that's okay. That's all right. We're going to go to him for the top 20 market. If we take a look at his top 20 market in the last 12 months, it is his most profitable market. Finishes inside the top 20 about 42% of the time. Great course history here. The ball striking is 3rd in the field. Approach plays 4th in the field. Off the tees 21st. He's ultra accurate when it comes to driving the golf ball. 8th in the field in that department. So we are looking to move in the right direction. Love what Daniel Berger brings to the party. He is 5th in the safety model, 9th in the upside. So we're kind of leaning on that safety in the top 20 market over there at plus 105 on BetMGM. Berger's putting isn't good enough, I don't think. I agree. I don't think he's going to get across the line for the win. And he was 25-1, somewhat 28-1. Berger top 10, 18-1. Berger top 10, 18. Jeff, if you can find a Berger top 10, 18-1, go ahead and smash that. But I'd imagine probably plus 180, to be honest with you. You guys with the typos in the chat here, I need to figure your stuff out. Golf God saying Ricky Castillo with a without Scotty Scheffler win. All right. We'll look at Ricky at the end of the show yet too. Buckley, top 30, says Myron. Okay. Interesting stuff. We can take a look at Hayden Buckley. Remind me to chat about him here shortly. All right. Moving along. We're going to do a couple more bets here. Let's see if we got any more top 20s to chat about. Not necessarily. All right. Let's do a quick giveaway. So those of you that are in the chat, live in the chat right now, in the comments, hit me up with who has the... Let me think here. Who leads the field in ball outside of Scotty Scheffler? Who leads the field in ball striking this week in my model? So we're looking for an absolute beast on the ball striking front. Let me have a know what you think leads the field outside of Scotty Scheffler in the ball striking market. I'm going to be pulling it up right now. The correct answer gets a free month in the Model Maniac Patreon. Use code Charles if you're in the mood to get Charles 25 gets you 25% off in the Model Maniac Patreon, where you can find all these tools that we are using over here. I'm filtering on it right now, and we will see who exactly it is. And it is not Tony Finau. It is not Maverick McNeely. It is not Aaron Rai. However, Rai is not necessarily even up there. Mav is fourth. We spoke about him already on the show. Nico, he'd also a great bank robber. Nico is not the answer. It's going to be a very obvious answer. It's going to be a guy that's going to provide you with a lot of disappointment if you've bet this person over the years, specifically in the upside markets. He's a non-American. I'll give you that to try and get you guys in the mix. Lucas Glover, it's not Lucas Glover. It is not Harmon. It is not Hideki. Joanne saying, rushing to the hospital. My daughter was just taking there. Good luck this week. Oh, my God, Joanne. Well, hang in there. I know if you got time to chat there, I'm assuming not panic stations, but I hope everything's okay. Hope everything's okay. Folks, Sweet Spot DFS hit it on the money here. Outside of Scotty Scheffler, it's Tommy, not Elitewood. Love that nickname. And it is very much who are we talking about over here. So Tommy Fleetwood gains the third most on approach and the 14th most on the tee box over there. So Joanne, really, thoughts and prayers. What a crazy show this has been. I'm assuming everything will be good to go. Oliver saying, Oracle, I'm assuming he's a couple minutes behind. I'll give it to you. I know Darbo's already in the sweet spot. He's already in my Model Maniac Discord Patreon. Hit the link in the description below for the Discord, or message me on X. We'll get you in there. Oliver Oracle Or. Congratulations. That might be a little bit of a cheap shot so late after, I just brought it up, but you're the first non-Darbo to mention it. So Tommy Fleetwood, top 20. I was eyeing out Tommy Fleetwood's top 20 market. It has been a market that he has been the most profitable in for himself. He's lost money in the win market, obviously. Top 5 and top 10. Not a good top 10 bet whatsoever. Finding himself inside the top 10, only 3 out of every 10 starts, but about 63% of the time he's inside the top 20. So really returning his market over there. If we take a look at his recent form, 1, 2, 3, 4 top 20s in his last 7, with one of them being a 21st place finish. So basically 5 top 20s in his last 7 starts. Do we like him here, though? 35th in 2022, missed the cut in 2023. He checks a lot of boxes. He's second in the model. I don't know if I can get to Tommy Fleetwood at what are his top 20 market odds here. It's just a bit of a situation for us if we're really looking there. Top 20 market for Tommy Fleetwood is plus 105. 50-50 shot. There's a 0% success rate at this golf course historically, but it's well over 50%, 63%, so to speak, or exactly 63% when he's finishing top 20 in the last 12 months. So I don't know. I don't like his upside, although he's second in the field in upside because the ball striking metrics are just scintillating. And it's a very important ball striking week. Scotty Chef, Rory, Tommy Fleetwood, great stuff on hellish conditions, medium conditions. His worst venue is hard. It is what it is. Still all top 15. Very, very accurate off the tee, 16th over there. And the green regulation, see, that's the thing. Second in the field in green regulation rates when it comes to weighted green regulation rates, but 21st in weighted strokes gained approach. So he hits a lot of greens, but usually when you're hitting a lot of greens, you're playing away from the flags. So that's probably why we're seeing such safety from Tommy, but not that upside. He's not really hunting flags all that much. So we'll see what happens with Tommy Fleetwood. I think it's an absolute fade for me this week. Byron, for the end of the show, Scheffler to win by 3 or more strokes. Yes, he's done it 2 of the last 2 times he's won. He wins by a lot when he does. And this is the kind of field he could easily lap. So send it, dude. Why not? I think if you're looking to get exposure in Scotty, that's probably a good way to go about it because we've seen him just walk away from the field. Couple more bets, then we're going to get into some DFS stuff, answer your questions, go from there. Aaron Rai. We are going to just filter by A to Z because that's number 1 on the board here. Safety for Aaron Rai, 3rd in the field. His top 20 market has returned you $561 hairs if you bet him to win $100 in the last 12 months. In the top 20 market, he's finishing 45% of the time inside the top 20, and then that top 10 rate drops all the way down to 18%. So doesn't quite have that upside. That's what you're seeing here in the upside rank of 5th, when his safety rank is 3rd. But it gives you some consistency. Finished 32nd here last year, 12th the year before. And then if we take a look at his recent performances, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of his last 6 starts have been top 30s, sorry. 5 of his last 6 have been top 40s. But the top 40 market for Aaron Rai is minus 190. I don't like that as much. Bet365's got that minus 125 out there. So take a peek at Aaron Rai. I think that's the way to go for a top 30. I don't like him for a DFS option because we're just lacking that top end stuff. And the biggest issue with Aaron Rai is the Sundays. He's 52nd in the field in strokes gained on round 4 when everything else is inside the top 20 here for this field. So definitely an option for first round leader market as well. What is his first round leader market for Aaron Rai? 40-1. I like that with some placements. If we take a look at Aaron Rai's top market as well, I know we were chatting about him for a top 30. We are migrating this conversation to a first round leader situation. And this tool is pretty cool to see how that can be researched. So Aaron Rai in the last couple events, you go round 1 here, click on this, and you can see what his finishing position has been in round 1. PGA Championship, he was 4th in the field after round 1. Actually hasn't been he's got a very solid round 1 performance, maybe a round 1 showdown guy. 1, 2, 3, 4 of his last 6 have been 11th or better. Does he show up for that win? I don't know. But we're going to leave him alone then. I just, the upside's just not really there. Has he been a first round leader before? Yes, back at the RBC Canadian Open in 2023, gained 5.5 strokes. So he's actually gained more than that at the PGA Championship and finished 4th. So tough sledding in that first round leader market. It's very, very sketchy stuff. But we don't mind Aaron Rai if we're taking a look at what he gets up to in that top 30 market routinely. Beautiful stuff from Aaron Rai. Moving down the board, we're going to be looking at JT Poston for a top 30, minus 115. Same situation here. Congrats to JT Poston. Fantastic performance at the PGA Championship. Ball striking on approach was very, very good. The putter, despite missing multiple shorties, gained a lot of strokes. We are seeing a 12th and a 10th place finish in his last couple starts with 3 miscuts in between those at Colonial Country Club. Not very good. but his current form is just very, very impressive. So we've got a 33rd at the Players. Basically anything better than 42nd in all of his starts since the Players Championship. So we're really kind of looking for JT Poston to get it done for a top 30 this week. He's also going to be very popular at $9,400, 17% owned. He has, and this scares me, going and laying over a unit on that to win a unit with this miscut equity that we've seen from him at this golf course. What has been his problem historically? That's a concern. Like, that is some seriously like hit or miss type situation from Poston. At Colonial Country Club, the around the green plays let him down. He's missed a couple short putts. The approach play has been very mediocre. But I think right now JT Poston's approach play has been pretty mediocre entering the week. We'll see. He's playing good golf. He's getting it done. The putter has been working quite nicely. How does he look on bent grass greens over the last 36 rounds? Pretty solid. Very good bent grass putter. So I like that a lot. I think he's going to do good stuff for us. And that's for the last 36, last 24 rounds. So good to see JT Poston doing that on the greens, considering he's really struggled on the greens in the past at Colonial Country Club with the putter, but has had some good success as well. So we'll see what happens. I think we're going to be fading him in DFS. He's a very much a miscut guy, which makes me wonder why I went with him for a top 30 when he, but he finishes inside the top 40 like 70% of the time. That's his safety. Like, his safety ranking is significant. It matches his DK rank, but the upside ranking for him doesn't. It's 18th in the field, where his DK price is 7th, which is the same as his safety. So that's a bit of an issue. That's why we've bet him top 30. We are going to be leaving him alone. And the 17% of you going with JT Poston very likely could see a miscut here, and we'll be losing our top 30 money as well. But the form entering this week and the putting on the bent grass greens, very good stuff. The approach play lately has been great, and the short game has been good too. So accurate off the tee, good to see that for JT Poston. 17th in the field in weighted strokes gained approach as well. Lots of good stuff going on for JT Poston. We're going to take a peek over there as we're going along down the board. Let's take a look at Jeff saying Scheffler's bad game is better than most players' good game. Yeah, his floor is absurd. His floor is absurd. Absolutely absurd. It's just nuts. Slightly more safety, but his top 20 rate is really good. Absolutely. Took a real pounding last weekend. Buddy, I think we all did. If we go over here to the PGA last week, 2025, we're going to type in PGA Championship here. Just take a look at the most expensive options that were available to us. Salary-wise, we're going to be rocking with Scotty Scheffler at 13.4. He gained, obviously, 76 points on the field. Then Rory gained 13. Bryson gained 47, finished second. Ludwig missed the cut, gained negative points. Xander Schauffele finished outside the top 20. Wop, wop, we had him. Colin Morikawa, lifeless. John Rahm played some good golf, lost it down the stretch. Could have been much better for him. It ruined Kenny Kim's single entry with those 5 overs on the final 3 holes. Justin Thomas struggled. If we're taking a look at the average points gained over here, well, not the average, the points gained, it was just a slew of everyone like under $9,600. Waco Neiman backdoored a wonderful top 8 there. Congratulations to him. Wop, wop. And then Bryson and Scotty were the 2 big names that kind of got it done. Look at all these random cheapies that just showed up out of nowhere. Like, where's the 8K range over here? Just ridiculous stuff. So it was a very weird week for the betting market there. I don't know. DFS as well. Hope you all have a good Colonial week. Thanks, my man. You too. Really hope you do too. Can we look specifically at first round leader picks? Yes, we'll do that after we're done with these bets. Poston is a play because of his putting. Yes, I agree. Score bank robbery movie. Drapes, I'm not gonna remember any of these. You gotta just message me. Let me know what these bank movies are. Last week, I don't know how, but I made 2x my money with the 4 for 6. That's the thing. That's exactly it. Like, if you had these 6K, 7K guys with Scotty or Bryson or Rahm, then you were good. But the rest Fitzpatrick was $7,500, a US Open champion, gaining 37 points on the field. You know, it was just a very weird PGA Championship. Very weird PGA Championship last week. Couple more bets, friends. Eric Cole, top 20, top 40. We love Eric Cole because he's so consistent when we're looking at his metrics. When we're looking at Eric Cole's situation here, top 20 market, he's returned you $451 betting to win 100 in the last 12 months. Very, very good situation there for him. He's finished there 35% of the time he's inside the top 20. 50% of the time he's inside the top 40. So taking a look at Eric Cole's course history, he's missed 2 cuts in a row in his 2 years, but that's okay. We are entering the week here with a crazy good top 40 rate. 41st at the PGA Championship is his worst finish since the Players. Missed the cut at the Players, but we got 12th, 15th, 26th, 18th, 5th, and 34th. All would have cashed those top 40s. He's even money. I like what Eric Cole's doing. His driving ability around this golf course is going to be questioned, but he's very good off the tee on these shorter golf courses. We've seen that at these courses like the Valspar. We've seen this at the RBC Heritage, the Valero. Solid work for Eric Cole in that department. And, you know, the weighted strokes gain stuff is pretty damn good too. So we'll see what he's getting up to. Plays good on these calm courses, like we've spoken about, you know. The calm courses for us are Colonial Country Club, Sedgefield, Harbour Town, Innisbrook, Copperhead, TPC Sawgrass, PGA National, and TPC San Antonio. The Valero, the Valspar, the Wyndham Championship, the Sony Open, the Cognizant, and Harbour Town Heritage, RBC Heritage. So those are all the events that we like as comp courses this week. Eric Cole, top 40. Let's have ourselves a week there. And then, if you guys haven't paid attention to what's happened this at the PGA Championship, I was watching with my dad, and we're just watching TV. Mathieu Pavon is on the screen, and my dad's like, wow, it's been a long time since I've seen Corey Pavin on the leaderboard. And obviously, he's just a very casual guy when it comes to golf. If only his son had a DFS betting show that he could watch every week to know the names that play golf, but such is life. He's here watching Mini Maniac with my mom, and we're watching the golf with the PGA Championship, and said Corey Pavin. That tweet, I tweeted it out. It went viral, made it onto No Laying Up Show. Fantastic stuff. Corey Pavin to win this tournament at 5,000 to 1. I have bet a single dollar that I'm not expecting to get back whatsoever on Corey Pavin, just because it's a core memory for me. It was a very special time with me and my dad, even though he proved how little he did his thing. If you're looking to ladder Eric Cole, go ahead, my man. I kind of don't mind that. It's not a terrible option. You know, that's the way to go. But Corey Pavin playing this week. The hilarious thing is he hasn't played a PGA Tour event in forever. The next week he's playing. He didn't even know he's playing this week, and now he is. He was also spelled Pavin, not Pavon, which I thought was quite hilarious. So that was it. All right. Now, let's get to a couple. Let's see if we can find a couple first rounders. Who was asking us for some on the pulse first round leader picks? Let's do this. All right. We're going to have to deep dive a couple dudes. Let's filter here on the Model Maniac cheat sheet on the model. First round leaders. Scotty Scheffler. I'm not going to be betting him first round leader. He's hardly ever the first round leader anyway. Always usually inside the top 10. Ryan Gerard. Let's take a look at Ryan Gerard's stuff. Didn't we? I think I actually really like him for a first round leader. This is not going to be the tool that we want. We want to go over here. Gerard. Ryan. Okay. First round. Beautiful. Most recently, we've got a second and a first at the Texas Children's. Spikes quite a lot. Got a second on the Corn. A lot of his Corn Ferry metrics are coming through here for us as well. So that's where Ryan Gerard's getting those strokes gain. But we have seen the Texas Children's and the PGA Championship. Some solid stuff. First round leader for Ryan Gerard is a 60 to 1. I don't mind that. You know, if you're looking to get some action on your guy, I really like Ryan Gerard this week. Let's go to him in that market. So Ryan Gerard, 60 to 1. I'm going to actually highlight his name for us over here so we don't forget that we've bet him. Go there. Beautiful. That's first round leader. Let's make it a different color. We want to make it green. No. Let's make it blue. No. Let's make it pink. There we go. That's better. All right. Ryan Gerard, first round leader. Robbie Shelton. Robbie Shelton, friends. What on earth has Robbie Shelton got up to in the last little while? He must get some Corn Ferry Tour stuff over there too. Robbie Shelton on the PGA Tour, it's been rough. Yeah, let's leave him alone. I don't know where we're getting a lot of. That's a weird number. I need to confirm that doesn't make sense that he's that price. Moving along from Robbie Shelton, we've already spoken about Aaron Rai. The lack of first round leader upside is not, maybe at 40-1, whatever. Tommy Fleetwood, same situation. Has he really had a first round leader in a while? Nothing inside the top 5 outside of a DP World Tour start. So his odds are going to be really short as well. Keith Mitchell, first round leader market 55-1. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? So Keith Mitchell, we're going to go with him. Let's paint his world pink and yellow. Bobby Mack typically gets off to some hot starts. We know Keith Mitchell's great in that market. And it's a no-brainer to bet him 55-1 in the first round leader market. How many has he had in the last little while? We've got, this is absurd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of his last 6 first rounds have been second or better. And he's 55-1. He's playing great golf. And it's good to see. So Keith Mitchell, absolutely will be betting him. Bobby Mack. Let's take a look at Bobby Mack quickly. McIntyre, not McNeely. McIntyre. Not necessarily seeing that upside we're looking for. Very consistent. Typically finding himself around the top 20 market there. This is for the last 12 months. So we got to go back, way back here. We've got RBC Canadian Open when he won, finished 4th. Can't say I'm a fan of that. Hideki Matsuyama's not playing great. Hayden Springer, I don't know if I like him on this kind of golf course. Jacob Bridgman seems like someone I might like. Valspar, he was the first round leader. No, can't say I'm that big of a fan of him for first round. Even I think most of that heavy lifting is coming with the Valspar. Very, very solid, metrics back in the fall swing. But just consistent, I don't know. Harry Hall, Jesper Svensson, Lee Hodges. Someone I'm definitely in the mood for. I think he's a first round leader beast. I think so. So his first round markets prior to the injury or whatever, we had the Waste Management Phoenix 2nd, 8th, and 8th in those 2 starts. Was really starting to vibe in the first round. Now we've been struggling since coming back. But I fancy his chances this week. I like this course fit for him too. Got some good course history here too. So Lee Hodges is 90-1. Let's go. Let's paint his world pink and yellow. Brian Campbell makes a lot of sense this week. What's his world look like? Not Ben Campbell, Brian Campbell. RBC Heritage top 5, Mexico Open top 4. That's about it. I like those 3 guys. Those are going to be the first round leader markets for us over there. Poston is a play because of his putting. We're going way back, yeah. Obligatory first round leader market. Vegas first round leader. Jeff, let's take a look. Yeah. Maybe that's the market you can play him in over here. Obviously, first round leader at the PGA, Byron Nelson as well. But these are 2 very big golf courses. I don't know if I like him on these shorter tracks. How does he drive the ball on these courses? This is a deep dive on Jonathan Vegas as well, basically, at the same time. Off the tee on short courses, not the greatest. He's got tons of distance, but that doesn't translate that well. The more difficult these courses play as well, not the greatest for him. This is a difficult golf course. So if you're in the mood, go ahead. I'm not going to be playing him in the first round leader market, 90-1. It's fair. Not going to be throwing it out there, though. I just don't like the course fit. Jake Knapp makes tons of sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So All right. Jake Knapp is Cognizant Classic. Obviously broke the course record. AT&T Pebble Beach, second after round one. Seeing a lot of CJ Cup, Byron Nelson a year ago, second place finish there. So he popped pretty hard for first round leader. We've kind of lost the plot lately. We haven't really seen much going on there. He hasn't played the greatest golf in the last little while for Knapp. I don't know if we want to go to that this week. He could show up out of nowhere, but it's been bad. Since the Players, it's been pretty bad for him. So, yeah. Hoagie, first round leader. Okay. And then this will be the last one. Then we're going to dive into some DFS stuff at the hour mark here. He was on a tear to start the year. He was first round leader on Hawaii, Mr. Hawaii. First round leader both days there. And hasn't been inside the top 10 since. Oh, man. Yeah. No. The first round leader market is such a hit or miss situation. That's the thing. So we'll see. I don't know necessarily though, that much. I'm going to get my face back in here. Have another sip of a margarita. And then we're going to attach some DFS. Let's filter by the pricing. And let's get the DFS data in here and hide these columns. So what we are seeing over here is DFS points gained on the field. Remember, we showed you that screen on the tool. This is points gained. Because when you're using DFS points scored, if you've just played all the non-signature events, the Byron Nelsons, the easier courses, you're scoring more points than the guys playing in the majors. So you want to see how they gain points on the field, which they're playing against on the same conditions, the same difficulty. So that's why we've got this as the points, not the actual points scored. We want to gain points on the field. So that is the reason over there. Cool. So if we're doing this by the averages over here, we don't have any of these guys with any data. So we're going to go Scotty Scheffler, second to Bud Colley. He's a great value at $7,800 in the last couple weeks. You know that we got those multiple top 10 finishes that we've seen from Bud. So these guys in the yellow are definitely guys that we will be playing. So take a look at some yellow names. These are the dudes we jamming into our lineups. Why am I at the top here? I want to be at the bottom. Alt playing. There we go. Get this yellow. Okie dokie. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, I filtered on this at some point, and there's a lot of yellow names at the top here. And what this is using is points gained by DK divided by the DK price. So it's some value. And what it's using is events gained at this event, points gained at this event, points gained over the last 12 months, and points gained over the last 3 months. So some recent points gained, some baseline points gained, and some course history points gained. Kind of mixing that all up. And as a result here, you can see Scotty Scheffler, just sensational stuff. Bud Colley is the number one dude. Scotty Scheffler is the guy we're going to be rolling with. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you now how we're approaching DFS this week with Scotty Scheffler. I'm locking Scotty Scheffler into my 20 lineups. Then I'm not going to be playing Scotty Scheffler in my single entry. And the reason for that is when you plug in Scotty Scheffler, you got to put in 2 6K options to get an $8,100 average salary for your next 3 guys. $6,000 flat to get him back to $8,100. He's 13.7, no 5K range. So 57% of the field, half the field is going to be playing Scotty. In big tournaments, when all these people have Scotty Scheffler lineups, it's going to be about who finds the best 5 guys to fit into those Scheffler lineups. But in a small single entry, 3 entry max with only 400 people, 60%, that's like 350 people are going to have to look for 5 guys to fit that Scotty Scheffler lineup, where 250 people or whatever, 150 people can find a balance build that has a lot more predictive names in there that you can rely on in a single entry. So I think the combinations in the big GPPs, the Scotty Scheffler is going to be the winning lineup. in that contest. I don't think the balance builds are a bad way to go in a single entry where you got smaller fields, because you're likely going to have more consistency from the 6 guys you're picking and a balanced build for a small contest than in a single entry. You got one shot at that Scottie Scheffler lineup. If one of your 6K guys very likely could miss the cut because he's 6K in a small field like this, in a weak field like this, you're not going to get that much consistency. So finding these guys and the contest selection is going to be very important this week. Darbo with the DFS says, when you get an endorsement on DFS from Darbo, that's always good. Hoffman up there, was thinking about him. Yeah, he's playing some good golf. Smaller fields absolutely make sense. Beautiful. Glad we're all on the same page, people. Let's go. Ryan Gerard, next up in the points gained by DK Price. So great value for him. Charlie Hoffman up there. The course history, doing a lot of work for Charlie. And most of that's coming from a long time ago. But he's made the cut here 4 of the last 5 times. And just finished 9th at Corrales. You know, he's got some cut-making ability at $6,900. We are looking for guys in that realm. What the hell is the average salary for Scottie Scheffler after you just plug him in alone? I'm actually going to just pull it up on my phone quickly, just right now. Otherwise, I have to log in on the computer, and that's all login details. I'm not in the mood for that. So let's go golf. Let's click a quick lineup over here. Sorry, while I'm just vamping. Apologies there. I just want to know what the average salary is for a Scottie Scheffler lineup. So once you click Scottie Scheffler, 13.7, you've got $72.60 left over. You know what I'm saying? So $72.60, and then if you go $72.60, and then you go $6,000 after that, minimum price, Corey Pavin, Michael Block range, $7,500. So we just got to live. We got to live in that realm. If you take out Michael Block or Corey Pavin and you plug in an 8K guy, say Davis Riley, your average salary is $69.25. So you got less than $7,000 remaining for the next 4 dudes if you're plugging in an 8K option. So I think Scottie Scheffler plus the 7,000, 6,000 guys, all of these dudes in this range is a perfect situation. So I'm in the mood for Matt McCarty. Jesper Svensson, I don't know if I like him for this kind of a venue. He doesn't grade out the greatest. Safety-wise, DK ranking is either side of that number. It's just not a good fit for him, I don't think, this week. You know, he's an easy medium course guy, just mashes an easy venue versus not. I like Emiliano Grillo at $7,400. He's actually been playing a little better than we think, friends. Obviously, the winner here in 2023, 8th in 2021, and a top 20 in 2019. We've got some top 20 finishes here at the Valera and Valspar. Similar courses, similar proximities on approach. If we take a look at Emiliano Grillo's approach metrics, his weighted approach play is 52nd in the field. He's a solid wedge player, and he's pretty damn good. He's 18th in the field from 150 to 200. So from the fairway, he's scintillating. Not the greatest out of the rough from far away. So he's got to make sure he hits fairways. And Emiliano Grillo, 25th most accurate golfer in the field. So I like it this week in a big, big way. He's projected at 6%. So not as sneaky as we think, but still a very good play, I think. Toasty and Cylinder, 2 nukes, and Jesper Svensson both hit it a million miles off the tee. Not grading out the greatest for us over here versus their price either. Danny Walker, on the other hand, definitely. Kenny Kim's one of his cash game cornerstone type options. Almost made it as the hustler play of the week. Danny Walker, he's got some distance, but he's finished, compared to these other guys, the short course off the tee metrics grade out well, and he's still very good with the irons. Very, very good iron player from a weighted perspective. So we're going to see some impressive metrics from this mid-range area, and particularly from the rough. I think that's what we're getting a lot from him here too. So, he's a very good wedge player out of the rough, 4th in the field there. So that's going to be good. With that kind of distance, you got to be a good wedge player out the rough because you're not necessarily hitting as many fairways. So I like Danny Walker. Mac Masner has got a really solid comp course history and a course history here. So I like him at $6,800. He's a very good value for us there. Chandler Phillips, same situation, $6,700. He's going to be 3% owned. Great course history, great comp course history. Jordan Spieth is grading out quite nicely, but you know my deal with Jordan Spieth at $9,800, 20% ownership. You ride that Jordan Spieth roller coaster on your own. When there's single-digit ownership, you don't want everyone else's throw up on you. We know Jordan can just implode out of nowhere. Now, the fact that Jordan has played consistently, this is like, you don't really see this from Jordan, what we know Jordan to be of late. Just taking a look at his recent form before we get to his course history. He missed the PGA Championship. He's trying to get the Grand Slam there. That's a lot of pressure. That's fine, whatever. Prior to that, we haven't seen a finish worse than 34th since the Valspar. He's been very consistent, but a non-competitive fourth place finish at the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, a course that in Texas, he plays these Texas courses quite nicely, but then you get to the course history here, and it's just non-stop top tens. But the last 2 years have been a little rough for Jordan at this golf course. Do we like the course history before he missed the cut and finished 37th in the last 2 years? Or is this a red flag? It's literally a red flag in 2023 with a missed cut. I don't know. $9,800, 20% owned. If we're taking a look at total ownership here, it's the fourth most owned option. Daniel Berger, Aaron Rai. Have fun finding the upside with these two dudes who, granted, Daniel Berger finished third at the RBC Heritage. So maybe he's got some upside. But Aaron Rai's best finish in the last couple of tournaments is 14th. Then you're getting these guys with all better finishes underneath them. So I think they are all better plays. Just given the upside potential, less ownership significantly. I mean, you're looking at half the ownership quite quickly down here at Brian Harman's range, Siwoo Kim's range. Hideki Matsuyama, as best finished recently, is 17th. So he's out. I mean, just make this guy red right away. You feel me? So Maverick McNeely, we playing his ass. Love him at $9,500. I think I'll start some lineups with Mav. I think he's a great option, like we've spoken about already. Brian Harman in the single entry kind of lineup, $8,500. He's been very consistent at this golf course. Now, the model's not a big fan of him, but we're gaining some points on the field here. Points per DK price. He's a good value at $8,500. 12% ownership's not terrible, not ideal. We've seen some splotchy finishes. Won the Valero, third at the RBC Heritage. Wells Fargo and PGA Championship, not necessarily the greatest venues for him. So I think we can expect him to play better at a golf course that he's pretty much finished inside the top 31 in, what's this? 5 of his last 6 appearances at Colonial. Missed the cut in 2022 when I think he was 1,000,000% owned. Let's take a look at Brian Harman's historical ownership here. Going on a complete tangent, Colonial. This is not Charles Schwab. What are we doing here? Let's get this out here. Charles Schwab Challenge. Brian Harman. Brian Harman. So he was, in 2022, 21% owned. So we're starting to see him back in this range here. Sometimes the ownership pays off, sometimes it doesn't. I think that's the thing we're finding out from Brian Harman. I think he's a solid option at $8,500. So I like him. I like him a lot. Compared to Hideki at $9,600, it's a no-brainer. It's a much better play. Siwoo Kim is interesting. 3 missed cuts at Colonial, and then a 29th and a 56th in his last 2 starts after those missed cuts. Siwoo Kim entering the week, though, is 4 consecutive top 17s. He's found the groove. Should have won the RBC Heritage. He was right in that final group with JT. Could have got it done. Did not. 11% owned, $8,900. He's playing some great golf. Now, the course history could be keeping people away from him. I think at some point that can change. So at $8,900, he could be a start to the single entry lineups if you're in the mood for that. Andrew Novak at a course like this with the short game that he possesses, maybe not. As things get more difficult, though, he plays a lot better. So $8,200, 11% owned for Andrew Novak. Absolutely. 6th in the field in short game And, this average points per dollar is a little low for him because we got some really splotchy finishes. Miscuts, but third, second, 17th in other areas. So he's hit and miss, losing you a lot of points the weeks that you don't, but that's fine. I think he's a great option as an $8,200 price tag. You can maybe sneak him into a Scotty Scheffler lineup and then click 3 6K guys and a 7K guy. So that's what we're doing over there. Ryan Gerard, we've spoken about already. What are we even filtered on ownership-wise? Okay. Let's go down into the bottom of the salaries here because these are important. Love Lucas Glover, $8,100. Chatted about Thorbjorn Olesen in our Discord today, and he's sneaky. We're seeing some green boxage over here. Fifth in the field in approach play and 8th in ball striking. He's a total driver of the golf ball when it comes to distance and accuracy, inside the top 50 for both of those metrics, and as a result, inside the 50 in strokes gained on shorter courses. Like to see that. If you're taking a look at what he's got up to on these other venues, by the way, solid on bent grass putting for him. Top 43 for that. Been making lots of birdies and greater bogey avoidance on medium and difficult courses because he's keeping his ball in play. We have a 5th at the Valero, a 36th at the Valspar, CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, 29th, PGA Championship, 33rd. He's trending, friends. $7,700. Great option for Scotty Scheffler lineups. Christian Bezuidenhout it's starting to find some steam here. Could find himself in the double-digit ownership at $7,500. Likely got to do with the fact that he has got himself finishes at Colonial Country Club of 17th, 21st, and 15th in his last 3 starts. Great course history. The form entering this week has been very mediocre. No top 40s. So for that reason, I'm probably out. Since this ownership's coming in high, I think that you can get even more steamed than he is now. Sam Hoagie has been okay around here. I love Griot. I love Jacob Bridgman. We can see anything from this guy any given week. Granted, this ownership is just pretty flat in the 7K range because we're getting all of these guys trying to play Scotty Scheffler. So trying to differentiate these 7K options is important. And I think playing a couple more 6K guys is going to hurt you, but you got to find them. So Rio Hitsutsuni, 8% ownership. That's going to be a question we have to ask ourselves. Pearson Coody at $7,200. That's someone I'm down for, 3%. He's starting to find some really impressive ownership leverage there in a range that doesn't really give us that much. I haven't really matched up too many other guys. Neil Shipley at $6,900. Charlie Hoffman at 1%. Love that. Mac Masner, Matt Kuchar down here at $6,800 a piece. Andrew Putnam, Kenny Kim's guy. He's got him at 7% ownership now. What's Kenny done to Andrew Putnam? He's gone from Hustler Player of the Week to the most owned 6K option of the week. Chandler Phillips, though, at 3% owned. Love what he's got up to recently. Love what he can get up to at this golf course. Some solid finishes here in 12th last year. If we're looking at some Joel Damon, not necessarily the greatest around this golf course, but he has spiked, obviously, 2nd place at Corrales, 18th at Houston Open. He's very, very good course fit here. He's weighted approach play from 150 to 200. Fantastic. His accuracy off the tee. Fantastic. Makes a lot of sense. Now, it's just a short game. Can he get that around these golf courses? We don't necessarily know. It is what it is. So, Stephen Fisk, $6,600. Love what he can do around the greens. Love what he can get up to when it comes to these hard and hellish golf conditions. Top 35 in both of those strokes gained areas. He's got some distance off the tee and relatively accurate. So that's good to see there. Not necessarily the greatest gainer on the short courses off the tee. That is what it is. Love the approach play for him. Very, very good when it comes to hitting it out of the rough, most likely. Yes. 2nd in the field in strokes gained out the rough, which is where he will find himself most of the time, given the difficulty of this golf course. Chad Ramey got some good course history here. He's going to be $6,600, 1% owned. We've got a 12th and 27th at this golf course in the last little while, an 18th and a 5th in 2 of his last 3 starts. Like Chad Ramey. Patrick Fishburne is interesting. He's got a little good sneaky finish here, I believe, in the last little while. 5th at the Valero. If that comes through again this week, We like that. Danny Walker, spoken about him already. Those are guys we're in the mood for. Cool Beninas. I think those are all good options. $6,400 seems like an area that we're going to kind of leave ourselves to. Maybe Nate Lashley. What has he got up to at this golf course? Nothing crazy. So, we're not really seeing some great course history. Any course history, guys? Webb Simpson's got some good comp course history here, but that's from ages ago. Brand Snedeker as well makes a lot of sense from the comp and course history, but lately just not got it at all. If we're taking a look at Zach Blair, maybe at 60,000, 6,100, I don't know. We'll see. Tough scenes. All right. Thank you so much, guys and gals. I hope Joanne's doing great. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, join the Model Maniac Patreon. I would love to have you guys in there. Use code Charles25 for 25% off your first month. Don't forget to comment below after the show's live. Who's going to finish DFL for a free month over there? It's been a good show. It was a nice show. I think our boy DEGEN75 would be proud of us. So hope all of you are doing well. Let's have a great year. Let's have a great week, great month, great evening. And I will see you guys next week, 7 Eastern, Tuesday night. Till then, peace.